Why did you get a paper cup and I got like a proper glass
I have asked this
mug?
question at least 14 times now.
Don't give that guy the nice cups.
I see you all walking up in here fancy and whatnot. Like you got a watch on your wrist and I got rubber bands. They're like, oh, this guy doesn't deserve a glass.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Austin.
With Headlight Revolution. In this video, we're going to go over some different questions that were asked on our YouTube channel over some different videos. They're going to range from LED to HID to different technology and why we said what we said in the videos, and cover some things that we didn't say. So let's start off with the first one. Here we have Dimitri Pelzer. He says, I bought a pair of LED bulbs for my car. They did work better out of the box, but the weird thing is that they interfere with my radio. When my lights are on, the reception is bad. Put lights off and I get clear reception. It's a Pioneer radio, so this is weird for me. Had to put old halogen one back again. Normally what you're getting when your radio signal gets really bad, when you turn your headlights on, is some type of electromagnetic interference usually, or some type of electronic radiation. So sometimes the radiation can come through the power line of the product, and the way to fix that is to use some type of a ferrite coil and wrap it around the power wires that connect from the bulb to the factory wiring. But if you've got proximity radiation, where the product itself is actually radiating the interference through something like a fan or a component within the driver, then you're kind of out of luck. You can't fix that by adding a component or adding a filter or something. So if it's inline interference, try something like a ferrite coil. You wrap it around the wires and it pulls a lot of the EMI out of the circuitry. But if that doesn't work, then you're kind of out of luck and you have to try something that uses better components. When you look at the different bulbs that we recommend, we don't just recommend them because they're brighter, but it's because they're built better.
I've also seen some people use aluminum foil and wrap it around either the wires or the driver itself, different components of the LED or HID lights to help with the radio interference. Even things like moving the wires in the driver or ballast to a place surrounded more by plastic and not metal can also help. I've seen simple things like that even work.
I've seen people with HID kits where they were getting radio interference that actually moved the ballast away from the antenna wiring, or away from the bundle of wires in the engine bay that fed the power and ground for the radio. So, is it proximity based or is it electrical line based? And that kind of dictates the course of action to fix that kind of problem. Daniel Arif. Arif? How do you say that? A-R-I-F.
I think it's a reef.
I think you forgot to cover which bulbs are better for projectors compared to reflectors. A lot of bulbs, even the ones with a tiny triple LED being two-sided, gives weird shadows in the beam pattern in projector headlights. Which bulb would give an even beam pattern while still having a hot spot in a halogen projector? So we actually just filmed a video yesterday for the new Supernova V4 bulbs, and I tried them in a reflector headlight and a Toyota Tacoma projector. They worked fantastic in both. We're seeing a lot of bulbs are doing a good job of working in either scenario. The Dynamics SL1 works well in both. The new Supernova V4 works well in both. There's a couple companies out there that have projector specific LED headlight bulbs, and honestly, I don't think they really work necessarily any better than a properly engineered standard LED headlight bulb. With what I've seen right now, for a projector, you got two options. Either go with one of the bulbs that we recommend for projector because we have tested them all, or go HID.
And it's kind of a hard question to answer too, because we're still kind of trying to figure out which bulbs are working good in projectors.
Like a year ago.
At all. And also the amount of sides the bulb itself has doesn't necessarily matter too. Like, I think the biggest part of it is the chip alignment itself. All right, so this next one is by Robert Heinkel. Heinkel?
Yes.
Robert Heinkel.
What's up, Robert?
He says, I tried LED bulbs in my backup lights. They're brighter, but didn't provide any more light where I needed it. The factory dark tinted windows really make it hard to back up at night. No backup camera. I hate those idiots that put a light bar above the cab of their truck, but run them in town, blinding everybody they meet. In the in-town.
At first, when you talk about tinting, I thought he was going to say, like, I tinted my windows, now I can't see anything, or I tinted my taillights. Like, yeah, okay, first of all, if you tinted your headlights or your taillights, guess what? They're not going to be as bright. But he's talking about, like, factory tint on the back windows of his truck or something.
Yeah.
The thing that comes to mind with reverse lights specifically is the GTR Lighting 1000 lumen bulbs. Now, we have done a significant amount of testing with those, and we've made several videos. So, Robert, if you want to see which product I'm talking about, it's not that tough to find. Just go to our channel, look in our videos, look for reverse lights. We got a video from a guy after we put them in locally, and he sent us this video, and he was like, you guys put, like, headlights in my taillights. This is amazing. So, trust me, there's good options out there for better reverse lights. If you have tinted or not, just let us know and we'll show you which ones we're talking about. There's really only one or two good products that are actually going to be usable for more light when you're backing up.
All right, so this next one is from a CW Jones AO. He says, just placed my order. I was torn between these and the Diodynamic SL1s, but I've been reading that they have had issues with broken mounting pins. I'm a little skeptical about no cooling fans on these, but the numbers and testing speaks for itself.
I think in this video he was talking about the Supernova Perfect Fit bulbs, where they're really small and they don't have any fans on them. The cool thing about bulbs that have fans on them, like the ones from Morimoto, Supernova, Diodynamics, GTR Lighting used to use fans on theirs. Tons of places do though, and they work well because that's called active cooling. And if you've got a fan, it allows you to cool the bulb as efficiently as possible. A little tiny bit of energy spins that fan, and that gives you a lot more cooling ability than just a passive cooling.
And the more you can cool the bulb, the brighter it can go, and the more power it can be pushed.
Right, and reliably too.
Absolutely.
You're not just overdriving it to burn it out.
Well, the fans have come such a long way too since they first came out.
Right. He was thinking about Diodynamics, but he didn't want to go with Diodynamics because the tabs break. He said pins, but I know what he's talking about. The black plastic material that Diodynamics was making their bulbs out of was brittle, and it would scratch, and it would shave, and it would chip and break. And they fixed that problem very recently, so no more worries. Next time you're thinking about a bulb, you want something fan powered, you're thinking Diodynamics SL1, totally do it. That issue has been 100% completely resolved. The plastic material they're making their bulb bases out of now is the exact same composite material that you see on your OEM halogen bulbs for the black plastic base. No concerns about breakage anymore. Big Bad Wolf 11B says, but can you use a dual beam LED bulb in place of a single beam bulb? He's talking about the video where we talk about the difference between a dual beam bulb and a single beam. So we talked about dual beam, single beam halogen bulbs. We talked about dual beam and single beam HID, and then LED. And the idea is if you have a single beam bulb, that's the bulb that fits your headlight. Can you use a dual beam LED bulb in place of a single beam bulb so long as the connectors are the same? They won't be.
The wiring will be completely different.
Or at that point, does it come down to heat output in the housing or heatsink, wattage, amps, or draw?
It's literally all about how the vehicle is wired.
Yeah,
it would be way too complicated.
It has nothing to do with heat output. It has nothing to do with wattage, amps, or draw, or light output or anything. It's specifically about how that particular bulb mounts to that particular headlight housing first. They're very specific, they're very arbitrary and proprietary. And then secondly, the wiring. You're not going to find a dual beam bulb that has the same wiring as a single beam. That just doesn't make sense. Single beam has 2 wires for 1 beam pattern. Dual beam has 3 for 2 beam patterns. It's not going to happen.
This one's by George Glass. He says, excellent video. I have a 2016 Ram 1500. I bought some LED taillights and have the issue of an error code when the LEDs are installed. Do I need to install resistors for the rear turn signals and the brake lights, or is it just the same wires? I noticed you installed 2 resistors on the same side in this video.
He's talking about the video where W goes and he teaches you how to do resistors. And in the one application, that truck had 2 turn signals on each side. And so the rule of thumb is if the bulb blinks, put a resistor on it. Now we have seen some situations like the Ram trucks, some of the Tundra, every once in a while like a GMC Sierra, where the running light or the brake light also has a problem, but it's super, super rare. It's not unheard of. If you've got your resistors installed properly on the turn signals, any turn signal LED, and you still get an error, try it. Throw some 50 watt 6 ohm resistors on your brake lights like you were talking about. See if that fixes the problem.
All right, so this next one is by Martin Cooper, and he says, some LEDs are CAN bus safe, I assume. Those have a big resistor in the bulb? There's no question mark. It was just a statement, I guess.
It's not like you can walk into the store and buy CAN bus. CAN bus is a CAN, controlled area network, bus. It's really common in computer systems, and modern vehicles use it for all kinds of things. Like today, you can use CAN bus to control the ride height of your vehicle. Or like if a vehicle comes with airbags or magnetic suspension or something, you see CAN bus with the radio, you know, with data signals, how the stereo communicates with the amplifier and then the speakers. And the way they do it with lighting is, let's take a really common example, the Ram trucks. Dodge Ram from 2004 to 2016, 2017, and then they split off and now they're just Ram from then until 2019. And they've been well known for using a very complex CAN bus system. And the way it works is you've got your light switch that goes to your computer, and that sends a signal. Sometimes it's data. And then the computer sends a data signal up to the front to the TIPM, totally integrated power module. And the TIPM is full of circuits and says, all right, low beam, low beam. And then you switch it to high beam and it goes to that whole circuit again. It says high beam, high beam. And it's not just a set of circuits and switches. It also monitors the line. If you gave it attributes like a person, it would say, like, all right, is the bulb working? Is it still there? Is it still reading how it should read, or is there something wrong? And when it senses that something is wrong or different than what it's programmed to expect, it throws a code, or it turns the circuit off to protect the vehicle. So the bulbs and the HIDs and the LEDs don't have CAN bus built in. A CAN bus bulb is a misnomer. It's a bulb designed to integrate with a CAN bus system. Now with some bulbs, what they did was they just added resistance. And you do that through different arrays of capacitors or semiconductors or resistors. If you have a bulb chock full of resistors, it's going to get hot, it's going to fail, it's going to melt. It could cause all kinds of problems. And so what they're trying to do with a CAN bus integration is match the power draw and the wattage of the original incandescent light bulb to your new LED. The beautiful thing has always been with LED bulbs that they are a lower power consumption. Well, when the vehicle's looking for 21 watts and you only give it 5 watts, it thinks there's a problem. And you get flickering, you get an error on the dash, maybe the circuit just shuts off. So to combat that, they either add resistors, which is kind of an old school method. Most newer high-tech manufacturers aren't doing it that way. Or they make a bulb with really, really, really bright LED chips on it. So bright that they draw the same amount of power as the original incandescent bulb. Now, sometimes they can do that with just throwing tons and tons and tons of chips onto one bulb, and that doesn't end up working very well. But we're getting to the point where very soon we're going to see a turn signal bulb that doesn't require any kind of resistance added to it to work, because they're figuring out the formula how to integrate with that CAN bus monitoring system. So his question is, I assume those have a big resistor in the bulb. Yes and no. That's kind of how they used to make them, and they didn't work very well. The newer generation that we're going to start seeing come out in 2019 should be all LED based on wattage and power matching to what the circuit is expecting, and it's going to be pretty sweet.
Come on, you gotta read it.
How can I? That's so bad.
Straight face.
Where do you come up with these names, YouTube? All right.
Let me get it together. Okay.
This womb raider. It's not good. Let me guess. The headlights you sell will perform the best, and all the competitors will suck.
You got it.
Yep.
You hit the nail right on the head.
I know he's being facetious and saying, like, you know, trying to be sarcastic and say, let me guess, you're going to tell me that everything else sucks. Well, the reality is we've tested everything else. And we don't just sell our bulbs. We have a collection. The most popular products we sell are LED headlights, and, you know, we've got ours that are the most popular, like Morimoto, Dow Dynamics, GTR Lighting, Supernova. We do quite a bit with Putco, and then other brands have come and gone based on what they have produced and brought to the market. So we don't just sell a bulb and then tell you it's good. We test everything, and then the top 5 is what we offer to our customers.
Well, if you yourself were to do a lot of testing and figure out which bulbs are the best, and you found, you know, this one set or these 2-3 sets, you would want to push those because they're the best. You wouldn't want to push ones that aren't, you know, performing as well as others.
We're not going to, like, get into the bargain bin and sell something that doesn't work right.
There's a reason why we push the bulbs that we do, is because we've done the testing to figure out that they're literally, you know, the best performing bulbs are in the market.
So thanks everybody for your comments. We love them. Any questions, you can call or email, or hop on with YouTube with Womb Raider.